Let's Talk Mental Illness is important because 1 out of 5 adolescents have a diagnosable mental illness in any given year, yet not all of them get treatment or are even diagnosed. By age 14, half of all lifetime mental illnesses begin. I wish that I had this information when I was in high school and middle school. These are crucial years because 14 through 19, this is when kids are being diagnosed or starting to show signs of mental illness. We need this education. The kids need it, the adults need it, and principals, administrators too.
We need to create an atmosphere where students feel that they can come to school and talk to people about it.
My sister, I found out was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. She was in college. And later that year, she committed suicide.
When teenagers get into the high school, they experience a lot of changes with their friends, sports, hormones.
There's a lot of stress and a lot of weight. Like, you need to know your body. You need to know what you're capable of, what you're able to do, and what happens to you when sometimes you break down.
I was looking for a way to kind of cope and educate myself on mental illness.
A lot of the knowledge they have is from film, TV, and a lot of that perpetuates, unfortunately, some of the stereotypes.
Mental illness that really affects such a wide number of students, you know, there's still really a deafening silence in our schools about that.
And people always think when you hear mental illness, they think, oh my gosh, that person's gotta be crazy. And it's not at all.
So Let's Talk Mental Illness is a program where I go into schools and share my story about mental health and mental illness.
I learned a lot about myths and what people think, like preconceived ideas that just aren't true.
Hakeem showed me that someone who is facing mental illness can battle it and can win.
The kids loved listening to Hakeem and his presentation. They really appreciated an outside person who was telling their person a story.
If my friends knew what anxiety was, they would have known I was having a panic attack. If my friends knew what bipolar disorder was, they would have known that I was depressed and I was not just tired because I was sleeping 18 hours a day in my dorm room.
Well, I remember when I first was diagnosed with ADHD, I was terrified to tell people.
The last thing we ever want are kids walking the halls with these incredible secrets that they feel like they can't discuss.
I think once you put it out there, the kids are often relieved. It's like, hey, someone's finally talking about this.
I've seen many presentations on many different topics in my career, and the ones that are the best are the ones that speak directly to students. They don't talk down to them. They treat them like adults.
When I first start my presentation, I do not tell students that I have bipolar disorder. In the second half of my presentation, I share with them my story around mental illness.
I didn't know he had a mental disability before he said it. Like, he didn't appear to be that type of person.
We need to give kids the simplest information about who to go to when you're getting this information so that no one takes it on and assumes that they can manage it on their own.
It's important for schools to have it, but more importantly to have someone teaching it who knows about it, who's had a personal experience with it, because the impact is so much stronger that way.
We identify with role models, and it's one thing, you know, having stars come out and talk about their mental illness, but the great thing about Hakeem is, you know, he's a real person who has a real disability, and kids just identify with him.
I think it's important to know that it's okay to have a problem, and it's okay to just have a harder way of working with things.
Let's Talk Mental Illness is not only about education, but it's also about saving lives. I believe the more students know about mental health and mental illness, the more they will be able to seek treatment, the more they'll be able to help a friend, the more they'll be able to tell an adult what they're going through.